Okay, this is KP4MD. YouTube is now live. Can somebody run the net, please?
KP4MD, KP4MD, K6KRQ. I will do the honors if you wish.
Please, yeah, please do so. It's KP4MD. I'm just getting just getting YouTube up.
Okay, QST, stand by for the River City Arcs SSTV Net. We will be going live shortly. This is Bill, K6KRQ. I think we're a go on YouTube. Is that true, Carol?
Yeah, affirmative. We're live on YouTube now. It's KP4MD.
Alrighty then. Good evening. This is Bill, K6KRQ, your net control operator for the River City Arc Slow Scan TV Net. This net serves for training and practice in image transmission modes and meets Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. on the N6NA repeater on 441.3 megahertz. River City Arcs members and all licensed radio amateurs are welcome to participate. If you wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign between transmissions and net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact the net control by saying break, break. A double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency is terminated or the traffic is moved to another frequency. Stations who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I will recognize each station before continuing. Any station wishing to check into the net, please come now.
Good evening, Alpha India 6, Delta Golf.
November 6 Hotel Alpha, Bill and Rizzo.
KP4MD. Carol.
DG and Bill, N6HA. Any others?
This is KP4MD. Carol.
Okay, I got Carol. This is Bill, K6KRQ. I heard on the other net that Bob in Roseville, one of our regulars, is experiencing a power outage, so maybe he'll come along. We'll see, or maybe others will come along. So I guess we can get started with just the four of us for right now. Joel was first in, so let's see if Joel AI6DG is ready with an image. Good tone.
Thank you. PD 120.
This is Bill, K6KRQ. What a great image. I kind of know already what Joel's been working on, but let's go to Bill and get his comments on this. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, it looks like a rotator to me, disassembled on Joel's bench. I've seen similar rotators before. The gearing looks metal, so that's good. I see you're ready to lube it up and get it back in service with your white lithium grease and your various oils. I use that same white lithium grease on my trailer, which has a hydraulic pump to be able to make it go high and low. So looks like you made good progress with this. Hopefully the ball bearings are still in good shape, and you're able to get it back together and use it. So I wonder what antenna you got that you need a rotator for. N6NA back to that.
Great commentary, Bill. KP4MD, Carol, what do you have to say about this?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. I do recognize looks like an open rotor motor, antenna rotor motor, and I am familiar with lithium that it's supposed to be really good for bipolar disorder. So that enough of that will keep your antenna from going bipolar. I think that's good. Uh, so dipolar is okay, but not bipolar. Back to nets, KP4MD.
Thank you, Carol. You know, I don't know a lot or anything about these rotators, but I was thinking that it was like a really old one that Joel got, but man, that thing is like cleaned up like it's factory fresh. Tell us some more about it, Joel.
It's definitely not new. It's actually got a manufacturer date stamped on it, and it's 1978. But it does seem to be in decent condition. Most of the ball bearings are pristine. Unfortunately, it looks like it sat on a roof for multiple decades, and some water got into it, and there's a few of the ball bearings that are pretty badly rusted, but they're going back in anyway. Not enough of them to make that much difference. This is actually the second rotor I've rebuilt, but this one is much nicer. The first one was just very simple. It just did pulses every 5 degrees or something like that. This one's got an actual potentiometer, a rheostat up on top of it, so I can get an actual resistance reading of the direction it's pointing at. It's got a brake on it. It's got 98 ball bearings, which isn't a huge number compared to some of them, but much better than before. So this is a lot heavier duty. It's going to go in and get mounted in a little mini tower. I've got like a 5-foot tower up on the roof. Get mounted in the middle of that, and then there's a thrust bearing on the very top of it that'll put a mast on, and we'll hopefully be able to put a mast on and a lightweight hex beam on top of that. So it should do quite well in that environment. All the parts there already. I'm just verifying, making sure I know how to put it together, that everything goes together, being careful. I want it to not have to take it apart or have something break on it when it's up there. And even once I get this rebuilt, I still got to get it matched with a controller. I got this no controller. I think I can use the power supply from the first rotor I got, which I did have a rudimentary controller with, not one that would work with this directly, but there's remoteqth.com had some kits for rotor controllers, and I got one that should work well with this. Back to net, AI6TG.
Comment?
Go for it, comment.
You mentioned you already had a controller on the way, but if you wanted to homebrew your own controller, it's fairly easy to use like an ESP32 with the analog pins to be able to read the voltage on the potentiometer. Usually it's just a really rudimentary voltage divider. So there's some example code out there you could probably find of homebrewing your own solution to be able to even put the ESP32 up on the mast and just run power to it. And then with a relay board, you could be able to switch, which direction the rotator goes in. So that's just an option too if you want to look into something more Wi-Fi, wireless-enabled controller, N6NA.
Oh, this is kind of like that, all in a single box. So I've got a little box that's probably 2 by 3 by 4 inches with a DB15 plug in the back of it to plug the wiring into for the cable that goes up to the rotor. Very similar in some of the ideas. Kind of combining parts from this rotor and the previous rotor, because the previous rotor I did have a broken controller with it, and the main thing I'm going to use out of that is the power supply. It does take AC volts, and it needs a cap a starter cap to get the motors to spin. So Plus, I'm definitely into programming, but for something like this, I just want it to work. I don't want to have to program something for it. Back to net, AI6TG.
All right, thanks, Joel. Hey, I want to welcome Kayla, KA6YLA. We have her watching us on YouTube. Hey, you know what, guys and gals? Like, I think the only thing outpacing the stuff I learn from you all is how much I'm learning that I don't know. So the gifts just keep on coming. I really appreciate it. Anyway, this is Bill, K6KRQ. Hey, do we have anybody else that might want to check into our net? If so, please come now. All right, I thought I'd cast a line out, but no bites. All right, next in line is KP4MD, Carol. Carol, do you have something ready for us?
Yes, I do, and I don't know if you mentioned that Kayla K6YLA has now joined us on live chat on on YouTube, and I did get a text message here from N6PGQ that he has a power failure, so he won't be on tonight. But okay, this picture is coming over PD120, KP from D. And just another hint, those connectors are BNC connectors on the back panel there. Back to net, KP from D.
Thank you, Carol. This is K6KRQ. Bill, your net control tonight. Usually I defer to the net participants for comments, but since there's only a few of us, I'll take a stab at this. You know, this is a really good picture, but it got hit by quite a few pixel pops. So again, I don't know. It looks like it might be some kind of a oscilloscope up in the back near the top, or some kind of electronic measuring device. And in front, disassembled some kind of, boy, it sure looks familiar. Some kind of selector switch. Maybe those are like BNC connectors in the back of it too for a bunch of BNC connected antennas. You know, I see it at the bottom. I was dreading like the dreaded station identifier. Too bad we couldn't turn that thing off. That's like a real party pooper for some of these images. But anyway, that's what I got to say. Let's go to the top to AI6DG. That would be Joel, and see what he has to say.
Man, that sure looks like one of those old switch boxes. You know, you could switch serial ports or keyboard, mice, or video. It looks like it's been repurposed. If those are BNCs, are we switching RF? In which case, I wouldn't think that that switch would be very good at switching RF. So, are we switching RF, or maybe DC that just happens to be going through BNCs, or those don't look like coax. Those just look like very thick wires. This doesn't quite make sense, but it does certainly bring back memories and a bit of nostalgia back to net, the I6TG.
Well, again, since there's only a few of us, let's go to Bill, N6HA, and he can comment too. Go ahead, Bill.
I agree with what everybody said. It is unfortunate the ID got you at the last half there. It does look like one of those four-way switching boxes, but with BNC. I would call this an RFI box more than anything, because there's no way this would be useful at RF with just a solid core wire ran to each terminal in a nice big bundle there. So I bet for DC voltages it wouldn't be too bad, but for AC this would be worthless. So I wonder if you tested the loss on your VNA or something, because this box is not going to be very useful. I did look into buying something like this because I want to make a switch box to switch between my two radios, the microphone. But I haven't got around to doing that project yet. So I wonder where you picked this up from, N6HA.
Thank you, Bill. Man, you know what? Those comments are alone are more things that remind me of what I don't know about. But anyway, let's see what Carol has to say about what looks like one of her projects here. Go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, okay, this is KP4MD. Yeah, this I picked this up on at a swap meet last year. It's a four-position. It says data transfer switch on the front there, and it has 5 BNC. You know, there's one common BNC, and there's 4 switched BNC connectors on the back. Which you know, you might be tempted to use this to connect a QRP rig to you know, 4 different antennas, or maybe 4 different other devices that use BNC cables to a common one. But exactly what, you know, my intention was, I knew that this was probably going to be just like Bill says, a rat's nest of hookup wires. There's bare hookup wire in there with all lengths of inductances and capacitances, crosstalk among all of the different channels, and no way that this is going to have a constant impedance. So it's you know, I wouldn't even use this for switching data coming over BNCs. So this was an absolute failure of a product. But my plan was to rip out all that hookup wire, just plain white insulated hookup wire, and run some coaxial cables in there, little RG174Us, you know, which would work fine for the QRP rigs switching to different antennas. Or could be used also for switching different receivers to one antenna. But it was a nice buy. I got it like for $5 at, I believe it was the Lincoln Hamfest last year. I just haven't got around to it yet, but I thought I'd open it up and just show what a disaster it is inside. Yeah, and you're absolutely right, mentioning that you saw the my oscilloscope in the background there. That was not the subject of the picture, though. That's the front of my Rigol oscilloscope. So back to net control. It's KP4MD.
Thank you, Carol. You made that sound like a comedy as well as a disaster, but that was somewhat humorous. Thanks for that. All right, this is Bill, K6KRQ. Let me throw another line out, see if anybody else is out there that wants to check in.
November 6th, Delta Victor Mike, Stuart.
Hi, Stuart. I knew you were out there sometime. Somewhere.
I was traveling and just got home, so here I am. If there's a chance to post something, I will. N6TVM.
You're just in time. I'll give you a chance to get settled, and I'll send a photo right now. So here we go. This is Bill, K6KRQ. That shouldn't be too much of a mystery, but I'm interested in seeing how well you all picked it up at your QTHs. I'll go to the top again, and let's start from the beginning with Joel, AI6DG. Go ahead, Joel.
Very clean reception, just a handful of pops here and there. It looks like we're in a hangar or a warehouse, museum. We're looking at the left at one of the Apollo space capsules, and to the right and in the background is one of was there more than one? The Apollo quarantine trailers, where they quarantined the astronauts after they got back for some period of time, worried about space germs, I guess. Back to net, AI6DG.
Very good. That's on target. Go ahead. Go, Bill, N6HA. What do you got to say? Even if you know where it's at.
Yeah, well, a great photo. Just a couple pixel pops, nothing crazy. Yeah, I agree with Joel. It's the Apollo module, and then an Airstream, which I didn't realize they had them housed in an Airstream when they got back down. I know they stored them away just to make sure there's no space germs, but I don't know what germs you could get in a vacuum. I guess you have to be careful. I don't know where this is at. I would guess somewhere in Texas. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. That's a cool photo, though. I've never seen the Airstream like that. You should show this one to James. He's a big Airstream enthusiast. He'd probably get a kick out of it. N6HA, back to that.
Thanks, Bill. How about Carol, KP4MD? What do you have for this picture?
Okay, this is KP4MD. Yeah, I recognize an old space capsule from from a long time ago, and silvery thing kind of looks like James's Airstream RV, but I know it's not. It's supposed to be probably the isolation chamber, like you said. And yes, there was a fear that somehow their astronauts would bring back to Earth some kind of a mutated virus, or some kind of an alien virus that would cause a pandemic on Earth. And there was even a story that was written about that called the Andromeda strain. I think they made it into a movie. I think they also made that into a movie. So that was a real fear they had back then, a virus from outer space. So back to Nets, KP4MD.
All right, very good. Yeah, I remember all of that. This was, I guess I'll tell you about it now. It was a business trip I made to the San Francisco Processing Center when I still lived in Canoga Park. And so I had some free time, and I went to the USS Hornet there in the bay, and they had this down in the hangar. The Hornet, USS Hornet, the first one was the one that Colonel Doolittle flew his Raiders off of in World War II, but this one was the one that picked up Apollo 11 for the first man's first steps on the moon. But you know what? I don't remember if this is really like the Apollo 11 command module and the quarantine trailer, or just a mock-up. I just plucked this picture out of like a bunch I had, so I'm going to have to check that out. I'm guessing it's a mock-up, but who knows? Because it is like the USS Hornet that picked them up at sea. So anyway, that's the story on that one. Let's see if Stuart, N6DVM, is ready for us.
Can I start with a comment on your picture?
You certainly may. Go ahead.
So as you probably know, that this trailer was a negative pressure unit, so that when it was opened, airflow would go into it and not exit, as you guys talked about They were concerned about viruses and other bugs. I was director of California's a project in California by DHS and CDC to evaluate negative pressure airborne isolation rooms in hospitals in California, and we had a team that went throughout the state. And so I'm familiar with that. And at the same time I was doing this, I actually ended up in one myself with a respiratory illness and was in isolation in one of these facilities for a while. They eventually determined that the moon is sterile, and I don't believe they used this after, I don't know which mission it was, after Apollo 11, but they stopped using these, or at least stopped worrying about the negative pressure and the risk of infection. N6DVM.
That was an awesome footnote to my submission. Thanks for that. So, that being said, if you are ready, you may commence sending.
I am ready. Late to the game. It's not a very interesting image, but I have it queued up, and this will be PD-120.
I got that one really good. That's an excellent picture. I'll start it off again. It looks like, hold on a second, I'm going to make it bigger. So good picture, but it got a little bit of attack by pixel pops. And it looks like, what do they call them, segways? They're leaning. I can see the handlebars. They're in their gut there, but it looks like Segway Polo. It's not a polo field though. It looks like a high school like stadium or football stadium with the track around it. But that's what I've got on that. Let's go. Might as well keep it in the same order. Let's go to Joel, AI6DG.
Oh, that was interesting. I'm off doing other things on the computer, and I wasn't really paying attention to the photo as it started coming down. And then eventually it caught my attention, and I was wondering, what the heck is this? That looks interesting. And I couldn't figure out what the heck they were leaning over or what they had in their hand, and eventually enough of it came down. They're on segways, and they're probably playing polo of some kind. Segway polo, yeah. So it this was an interesting photo, not for the content, but for the story that it led you through as it loaded more and more going down. Back to net, AI6TG.
Thank you, Joel. How about Bill, N6HA?
Interesting photo. It did tear about a third of the way down on mine, and I can't get it to re-slant adjust to get the tear out. See, Carol was able to work hers out on the YouTube stream, but right where the guy's eyes in blue are, it teared for me. So they're kind of misadjusted there for a couple feet. So it looks interesting. Yeah, I agree with Joel. It looks like two guys playing polo on some kind of Segway. Not a sport I've ever heard of, but yeah, this seems a little more humane than riding horses. So I've never seen polo or this in real life, so that would be interesting. I wonder if the rules are the same. N6HA back to net.
Thank you, Bill. Now you pointed it out, I did not get those, whatever you call them, those lines there that you see on YouTube. Except for the pixel pops, my picture was clear. Which makes me wonder, I'm going to go to Carol, KP4MD. Did you get a better picture on your computer than you see on YouTube?
No. What you see on YouTube is exactly what I got here. Let me see if I. Oh, yeah. I just returned it now. What happened is I think the picture split 1/3 of the way down, shifted over to the left. Some problem with the sync, and I'm not sure if that was caused by the pixel pops or not. Back to you, it's KP for MD.
Thanks, Carol. Everybody's had a go round. I mean, we can make it a short one tonight, or if anybody has any burning desire or another picture to send, let me know before I end it.
N6HA.
Go ahead, Bill.
I haven't had a turn yet. I thought I'd send one tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, man, I feel so bad. I don't know how I skipped you. Good. Then that should fill us out. Go ahead with my deepest sorry. Please forgive me. Go ahead.
That's okay. No big deal. Let me try for tone.
Great tone. Go for it.
That is going to be PD120 N6HA.
that one. Good. Hey, this is Bill, K6KRQ. The hardest thing about doing this net is keeping the comment order in order. But I'm going to keep going the way I was. So that's going to be Carol, KP4MD. This is kind of a tough one to me. Let's see if you can make something out of it, Carol.
Okay, yeah, this picture came through very, very well. It's some kind of a machine. I see an on-off toggle switch in the left lower hand corner, and this machine has some kind of a vise on top. It looks like I see a work glove over there to the left, and another one that's on top of that. It looks like a plumbing flange that's threaded for pipe in the center, and it's laying on top of this piece of white, maybe wood or something, and it's got 3 holes in there that look like they have those plastic anchors going through them. I have no idea what this is for, but it's very curious. Back to Nets, KP from D.
Thanks, Carol. Let's go to Stuart, N6DVM, and see if he can make heads or tails of it. Go ahead, Stuart.
Well, I'll second what Carol said. It looks like, I can't tell if this is a jig or a vise. It looks like it's a jig in some kind of machine, maybe a drill press. It looks like a plumbing flange. It looks like there are hex deck screws holding it down onto a block of wood that's painted white. I can see a couple of marks, line marks for measurements, and I'm going to cautiously guess this might be a drill press and drilling holes into it. And that is my best guess.
Is likely as good as mine. The only thing I'm sure about is the toggle switch in the left and the flange up in the work area. Excellent picture, by the way. And again, it looks like maybe a mill of some kind, but I can't be sure. So again, with my apologies, Bill, why don't you tell us about this picture? Go ahead.
Yeah, good guesses all around. What are we up to here? It was kind of crazy how we got to this point. So yeah, that's a plumbing footing, a piece of 1-inch plumbing footing that I'm actually wanted to use to mate together my 2 antenna rotators. I think in the last installment I briefly shared my antenna rotator setup that I was DIYing together. So we had already drill pressed it at this point. That's why there's multiple holes in there. But then we decided we needed to cut off a little piece of material where that blue line is to get it to actually fit where we wanted to mount it with the onto the other rotator. So the best way we thought about doing this was actually use my friend's metal cutting bandsaw, which I've never seen a bandsaw up close and personal before, but he couldn't fit it into his vice grips there that usually holds it steady since it was a round piece. So we drilled it onto a piece of sacrificial wood just to hold it in there. And you lower the bandsaw onto it, and it started cutting that piece. And what's neat is that switch on the left is actually the power switch. So you flip it up when you're cutting, and eventually when the piece is done cutting, the bandsaw will fall down and tap itself off. So it's a very safe thing to use typically, because you could start the saw and walk away, and eventually it'll fall down onto its own switch and turn it off. So I've never seen one before, but it's a nice way for me to get this piece cut. My friend K6TIN helped me with this, and that's how I got my 2 rotators to connect to each other. So this custom piece we fabricated. N6HA.
Thanks, Bill. Man, I should have gone in the photo order because this would have been a nice following for Joel's picture. Anyway, so this time we have gone through everybody. It's still not even 10 of the hour, so if before I end the net, does anybody have anything else? Like I said, any burning desires or questions or commentary? If so, go ahead.
Quick comment.
Go ahead, Stuart.
Just wanted to confirm that on my image, your guesses were right. That certainly was Segway Polo. The context is that was taken in 2011. I was on the field at the Woz Cup at a high school in Folsom. Steve Wozniak from Apple Computer is or was an avid Segway Polo player, and he put together this competition, and that was taken some time ago. I was there. I don't remember why I was there, but I had some DSLR gear and was taking photos, and I have lots of photos of Steve. But that was the interesting one, and I thought, it was interesting to see it scan down and reveal that there are no polo ponies there, but there are Segways. That's it, N6NA.
Thank you, Stuart. I'm going to say Steve Wozniak and Segway Polo is an appropriate pairing. Anyway, any other comments or burning desires?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. I have a question for Bill, N6HA.
Go ahead, shoot.
Yeah, Bill, I heard you mention, I think it was last net, that something about the Sierra Auto Fair that they have at Rockland College. I don't know, have you had any experience with that over?
Affirmative. I've been there several times to look at the cars, and then also I went there to negotiate for my friend the purchase of a car because he refused to negotiate for himself, and he was willing to pay the asking price. So I told him there would be no harm in me attempting to get him a discount, which I successfully did, which was really nice to be able to save him some money. But yeah, it's a fun auto fair to be able to see used cars or RVs, boats, and other recreational vehicles, actually. They run it from Friday to Sunday. Do you have any questions about it?
Yeah, I think I'd like to talk to you later, maybe by phone, because I have a car that I'm hoping to sell soon, hopefully. Over.
Sure. You could call me up. I'll send you a message on Discord with my phone number if you don't already have it.
Yes, I would appreciate that. Thank you very much, and thank you also very much, Bill, for doing the net. This is KP4MD.
It's always my pleasure. If there's any more comments, or if there's not any more comments, I'll finish it off. All right then, and I want to give thanks to all who participated in tonight's SSTV Net. They're always very enjoyable to me and interesting. It's good conversation too, not just photos. We hope to see you again next Wednesday at 9 p.m. The net is officially closed at 9:51 p.m. This is Bill, K6KRQ, wishing all of you a good evening and 73.